Hello, everyone. For this update, I'd like to talk about what you, dear brothers and sisters, have accomplished during the past few months. Jehovah must be very proud of you. Your obedience, your zeal. In spite of all the obstacles, you haven't let up in your service. On the contrary, we're receiving reports from one country after another of peaks in the number of publishers, placements, regular pioneers, Bible studies, and meeting attendance. Well done, faithful servants of Jehovah. Of course, all of us are anxious to get back in the door-to-door work and doing public witnessing. And if we're limited to doing letter writing and telephone witnessing, we might feel that we aren't accomplishing much. If that's the way you feel, remember what we're told at Revelation chapter 14 and verse 6. I'd like you to follow along as I read this. It says, "And I saw another angel flying in mid-heaven, and he had everlasting good news to declare to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation and tribe and tongue and people." So an angel, or a group of angels, are supervising the preaching work. Now just think. Because of our limitations, the angels may be busier than ever, making sure that the kingdom message reaches the right people. Otherwise, how would you explain the increases we're seeing? You write a letter and send it out. The recipient reads it, but isn't interested. What have you accomplished? You've given a witness, maybe the most thorough witness that person has ever received. Some people are never home when we call, or they never answer the door, so they have no idea what we believe, until they receive that letter. But suppose someone else in the household would be interested. The angels might see to it that that person reads the letter. You've given the angels something to work with. Or you dial the wrong number. That turns out to be the right number. Were the angels involved in any of the following experiences? You be the judge. A sister in South America was doing telephone witnessing, but she wasn't getting much success. But she didn't give up. She called another number, and a man answered the phone. The sister explained that she was calling to encourage her neighbors who were suffering because of the pandemic, and she read Jeremiah 29:11, which says that Jehovah is offering us a future and a hope. Then the man said, this phone call was no coincidence. It was from God. He explained that the sister had called a radio station and that she was on the air. A lot of people were listening to her at that very moment. They had just been talking about the pandemic. The sister quickly prayed for strength, and then shared a number of encouraging scriptures with the radio audience. She also told them about our website. The host took note of the scriptures and enthusiastically encouraged his listeners to visit the website. What a witness! Now ask yourself, would the sister have dialed that number if she had known she'd be talking to a radio audience? Another sister in the United States was ordering a dress over the phone, and she had prayed to Jehovah for the courage to give a witness when the transaction was completed. She followed through on her prayer. First, she commended the customer service agent for her kindness, and then asked if she could read a scripture from the Bible. The young lady agreed. Turns out that she had studied the Bible years earlier, but she'd stopped because she had a lot going on in her life. A study was started in the Teach Us book, and the young lady attended the Zoom meeting the very next Sunday. What about this one? A brother in Japan wrote to 100 of his former schoolmates. Now in their 30s, many of them were facing problems in the workplace and had concerns about how to raise their children properly. When a talk about family life was given in the congregation, 29 of his former classmates attended. Now, he's studying with 18 of them. A sister in Brazil called a woman on the phone. Turns out that the phone rang just as the woman was about to take her life. She had a lot of problems, but that call convinced her that God is interested in her. She accepted a study and is making great progress. Another sister living on an island under the France branch had an appointment with the doctor. After talking about her own health problems for a while, she asked the doctor how he was doing. He was surprised. He said his patients rarely showed personal interest in him. This opened the way for the sister to give a witness. Turns out that the doctor never answered the door when the witnesses called. At the end of the conversation, the doctor said that for the next appointment, he'd schedule the sister at the end of the day so they could continue their discussion. An 80-year-old sister lives in a rural area in France. She called a woman living in an isolated village and talked about the model prayer. That turned out to be just the right subject. The woman said that she'd been raised by nuns, but had never understood the model prayer. A Bible study is being conducted each week, and the woman is attending our Zoom meetings. Now, what does each of these experiences have in common? Someone wrote a letter, dialed the phone, or spoke up. The brothers and sisters did what they could and gave the angels something to work with. So put the angels to work. Take advantage of opportunities to witness to schoolmates, medical personnel, delivery men, shopkeepers. A simple way to start any conversation is to say, I'd like to tell you about a website where millions have found encouraging information. Speaking of our website, a real effort is being made to provide up-to-date information on jw.org. Let's listen as Brother Herman Van Selm, a helper to the writing committee, tells us about it.
Something remarkable happened in January of last year. What was it? The writing committee, together with the coordinators committee, decided that the homepage of our website should feature articles that are relevant to current events, grab the viewer's attention, and provide the Bible's explanation and advice. Now, how did that decision, made in January, prove to be timely? Well, just a few months later, the pandemic began. So the writing department immediately began to develop articles that would address key questions or issues on the minds of people. However, the challenge was that normally preparing one issue of Awake or Watchtower can take more than 18 months. So we had to find a way to prepare articles for the homepage in a much shorter time. Gladly, with Jehovah's help, and with the help of the brothers and sisters in various departments, the total time for preparing and publishing one new article for the homepage has been reduced to 5 weeks. We are grateful that a good number of homepage articles already have been published on topics related to the pandemic. Which of these 6 articles do you think received the most visitors on our homepage? The number 1 article was, What does the Bible say about pandemics? Now, what does that show? People want to know how current events are related to the Bible, and our website explains in clear language how world conditions are fulfilling Bible prophecy. That makes the information on our website different from what people may find elsewhere. Brothers and sisters around the world also find the articles helpful. To give one example, a couple with teenage children wrote, Just when we as parents feel at a loss about how to deal with the pandemic, isolation, stress, and social unrest, an article appears that gives clear scriptural guidance on how to handle what we are dealing with. We appreciate so much how quickly the faithful slave provides us with exactly what we need. Now, many have expressed how the homepage articles help them in their ministry. Here are some of their comments. From Spain. They are eye-catching. The language is simple, but powerful. Benin. Publishers are impressed how in tune the articles are with current events. Netherlands. They are helping publishers to stay enthusiastic in the ministry during the pandemic. Scandinavia. Publishers check the homepage before starting phone witnessing. Britain is exactly the right thing for our current form of ministry. These recent developments with the homepage are a faith-strengthening example of how the faithful and discreet slave is providing wholesome spiritual food at the proper time.
In closing, we'd like to commend all of you once again for your resourcefulness and zeal during this pandemic. Keep up the good work, brothers and sisters, and may Jehovah bless you richly. From the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is JW Broadcasting.